Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Jan Sewing Solutions. We're going to do a little bit of a recap on a suit which is from the Roses collection. I'm going to give you some insight into the colors and how to go about making this suit so that you're more sort of enlightened into where the differences are and how you'd go about making it to your size. So the suit that we've sewn is for a very large size. It is for a customer of mine who is based in Glasgow, and there are a couple that I've stitched for her previously. Now is a customer who has actually lost a fair bit of weight, and I was mentioning that. Now I am going to do a separate video in regards to her weight loss and what she's done to actually gain that weight loss. I was talking to a customer from a viewer from Bradford, a very lengthy conversation that I've had with her, and she was also questioning me about being quite a large size and the difficulties she faces when stitching clothes to her size. So hopefully we'll address that in another video. I'm just going to give you the insight into this one. Now the suit itself is on pure fabric. A lot of people have questioned, these are not replicas or anything, these are, and they're not any particular designer suits. These are as manufactured by a company in Pakistan and they're sent over. It's on a very pretty fabric, and they are a little bit more costly than a lot of the replicas that we sell because of the difference of fabric. Okay, but if you're considering pure fabrics, then in pure these are a bargain, because a lot of the pure fabric suits they sell for over £100. This particular one is £65 a suit, and I'm going to show you what it is. It's a pure grip salwar. Now grip has doesn't really have that long a lifespan, but it has a really nice softness, and wearing you'd realize it. Anybody who's worn an original will actually tell you this. So these are on original. It's a straight salwar. I've made it fairly sort of not extra heavy or anything, but sort of reasonable size. What I've done is just to get the extra width, because the width of this fabric is not huge, I have put a small piece in the crotch area just to give it a little bit of more of a width. So the actual width on this is, I didn't actually quite take the measurement on what I've done, but because it's a large size and she is a very tall and broad customer, you know, it is slightly bigger than your average size. Okay, so that's the salwar. The dupatta is, the edges on the dupatta are embroidered and they're actually finished off, so you don't really need to do anything with them. The edges on the corners, I have actually used the picot machine. A lot of the machines, overlocking machines, do have that facility. So if you have a small domestic overlocker, then do look at the manual on that, because most likely it will have the facility to actually do picot edges. You normally change a slight bit of the cutting blades and so on to get this kind of stitching. So I would say investigate that. I haven't got any of the domestic overlockers here to actually show you that, and I haven't bought my edging machine here either because of limited space. Okay, so that's the dupatta. I've just finished it off in that. Now the kameez, you'll probably be able to judge by looking at it that this is a larger size. Now this is actually finished off, but this customer of mine, compared to what I stitched for her previously, she has lost about 3 stone in weight, so it is far more fitted than the previous time. The sleeves, I had to do a slight bit of an alteration on them, whereas I took the piece, I'll just give you that information from unstitched suit, and then you can make the comparison yourself. Okay, now the sleeves, they have the embroidered attachment going on there, so I did actually take it off from there and then I reattached it on the sides. Now the georgette actually doesn't need lining. If you didn't want to line it, you wouldn't necessarily have to line, but there's adequate fabric to make a full sleeve out of this. And basically that's what I've done. I've made a full sleeve out of that. Now something else which I'm going to highlight and show you. So I've taken it off from the side, reattached it at the front. Okay, now with this one, there was a color variation on the lining. So what I did was I went and I bought additional lining with the suit. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of a color comparison as well, and then you can see for yourself. So this was the original. You can tell the difference, and I feared that by applying that on underneath the kameez, it will change the color of the background, and then it would make it look different. So I actually went out and purchased, and I mentioned that in the previous video. Now to actually pipe this, what I've done is I've taken some pink fabric, I've piped it narrowly, and then I've done hand turning on the edges of the kameez. Now there's something that I want to highlight here. What I want you to notice is if anybody is wearing this kind of kameez, now these dresses have plain, well, embroidered back, but not as heavy as the front. Okay, so this is on the from the other. I'll explain it to you from here. Now if you see somebody wearing a suit like this, often if the front is heavy like this sort of gives you an idea of the suits, other colors and so on as well. Now if you make the comparison between the front and the back, then you can tell that the front is a lot heavier because of the heavy embroidery. Now generally what happens is when you see someone wearing a suit like this with an heavy embroidered at the front and a light embroidery on the back, generally, especially on bigger ladies, the front is falling towards the front and the back is lifting up from the back. So it's almost like from the back of the kameez is lifting high, and really in order to get rid of that, you need to add something on that to give it a bit of weight so that it has a little bit of a fall at the back. That's point one. Point two is this fabric is light embroidery. This is a crinkle georgette, and there is a certain amount of give. You can see the pull on that. When I'm pulling on this, it will stretch, especially when you iron this will stretch to a lot wider width. Whereas the front, when you iron this, it will stay because of the heavy embroidery. It won't actually stretch out to the similar, so a slight bit of a problem. Okay, and the problem is that if we do the back too less, then the chiffon will shrink and the kameez will actually look narrower. Do you understand? It will look like it's gathered from the back. So the comparisons here, if we're making comparisons, you can tell that when I've pressed this, the georgette chiffon has stretched and it's almost like looser, and I've also added the extension at the bottom to give it the weight, and by adding the extension that has also stretched the fabric. So the difference between the front and the back now has become like that much, but that doesn't matter because once you're wearing it, the back is not gonna actually be visibly apparent. But if I had made it smaller, and then once that was worn and a slight bit of water or anything touches it, this crinkle will go back to, gathering up. You will lose the, the look. So anyway, that's a little bit of a problem, but don't worry about it. If the back looks bigger than the front, it actually has no bearing on the wearing of it. Generally it looks far more better when it's the back is a little bit bigger and it hangs a lot more better. But the front, you can't really do anything with that because there is limited stretch in this due to the fact that it's embroidered. Alright. Okay, so anyway, that's my recommendation to you, that just keep that in mind. Don't worry about it. Try and do it as best as you can. But I mean, obviously, with these, the lining is a lot heavier. The fabric is a lot finer. It is far more difficult to sew. One of the questions asked was, how long does it take me to stitch a suit like this? Well, stitching a suit like this takes a lot longer than stitching a suit which is, you know, not of this type. If it's a normal chiffon, it's even easier. But then with stuff like this is all hand done. You don't want to actually go around and, you know, ruining something like this. That is delicate. That is far more delicate handling, spoiled by, you know, going over the machine. So anyway, I've done a fair bit of hand stitching in this, which has finished it off very nicely. So I don't mind spending the time on something like this, because you know that you've got to put a little bit of heart and soul into something like this to get the result. So like I mentioned, with these suits, I have them available in 5 colors. We've got them available in the golden color, and then we've got this beautiful sea green. That's the lining, sleeves, salwar, dupatta, that's in lime green, and then that's the back of the kameez. Then we have the beautiful black. And if you've not purchased these suits, these are suits that I would say that invest in, because these are one that I would love to have in my wardrobe, and I would probably have deliberated over which color to sew. So I think at the moment my wardrobe is empty of black. I will sew the black because I actually do love the black. We've got it in black. We've got it in this rosy pink, which is also a very, very pretty color, and you can tell I don't know how well you can tell. Now, I did have a complaint about the lighting in here, and I have actually tried to resolve that by adding ceiling lights, spotlights, so that we have got far more light in here, and I hope the video actually illustrates that. I went and purposely bought some new lighting and fitted those in. And then we've got this beautiful, beautiful purple. Very gorgeous, a gorgeous colour. I think maybe so the girls, the green and the purple. Inshallah, for next major occasion, which I don't know what the occasion is going to be. Anyway, these have got very good matching lining. If you're interested in any of these suits, then do drop me a line, and I will actually try and reply to your emails and your messages. I have been a little bit distracted, so I'm just going to go on to mention that. Please bear in mind that I did recently move, and moving is never easy. So getting organized in a new place has been a major hassle, and also we've had problems with telephone lines and internet lines. These are new built houses, and we had major issues with internet. I had the engineers in yesterday, and I've tried to get it resolved. I'm going to have to wait and see how far it's resolved. If not, then I'm going to have to inquire into maybe getting the fiber optic lines put in, which may take a couple of months before those are in place, and it may cause a little bit of a disruption in between. So just bear that in mind. I am also, with the move, what's happened is you sort of lose the touch, and probably over these last couple of months I have lost a little bit of interest in sewing, so it's going to take me a little bit of time to actually get fully back into it as well. It's always the case, once you're back into it, you sort of get like a really bad fever with the fascination with sewing, but then if you lose it, it can take you a while to get. Anybody who's been in that similar situation will understand what I'm talking about. So I have had these slight bits of issues. Now, in regards to stock, I have had an issue with stock as well, because obviously I've not traded for the last 3 months. Being offline has meant that I've not replied to many of the customers who've inquired about suits. I've had a stockpile piled up due to the fact that I've not actually, I've really not given it any time. Also, I have got a slight bit of an issue with storage. Obviously, this is a new house. We've got limited space in storage wise, so I am trying to sort that out. It may take me another couple of months before that issue is resolved. So up till the time I get these problems resolved, I am trying to restrict myself in getting any new stock. So I have put a temporary hold on trying to get involved in buying new stuff. Obviously, I've got to have the space to store it. I've also got to have.
Knit to my hair.
Eh?
Knit to my hair.
Oh my god.
Said knit.
Right. I'll go and check.
Look, I'll go on.
Alright.
And Joe's been looking at them.
Alright. Okay. So anyway, I'll keep you posted on if we do have anything new coming in. I've had lots of people inquiring when is new stock coming in. Now, one of the reasons why I've actually put a hold on that is it's not just getting the new stock, it's then fully storing it, it's also dispatching it, it's also showing it and so on. So because of all these minor issues along the way, I've had to restrict myself on how I go about organizing the future. So bear with me for the next couple of months until I get things sorted. In the meantime, I am doing a few different suits which I will be sharing with you. So take care, and inshallah I hope to see you again soon.